Beloved, welcome back to the shop. In my hand is a pair of Nick's Hot Shot boots. Goodness, I made a mistake in the intro. Jack wears JK boots. I wear Nick's Hot Shots. These belong to my son Jack. He bought these new last year and he's working as a sawyer on a Type 2 hand crew. This is what 4 weeks of wear looks like on them. He's home for a couple days before he goes out on his next fire, and Mrs. W and I are helping him get ready. So in today's video, we're gonna rehab these boots. We'll take them apart, we'll look and see what the wear was like, and we'll get them ready for his next fire. So let's pull them apart, take a look at how they wore, and see if we can't get them fixed up. No question, these boots have taken a beating. They've been used pretty hard. Jack works on a Type 2 hand crew as a sawyer, and he's been on really rough terrain on fires in California and Oregon. And I don't see any problems. The soles look good. Definitely no need of a re-sole. They're just dry and need of refurbishing. The laces, the leather laces, broke on this fire. You can see he's tied knots in them to repair them. So we'll swap all of that out and make everything now just like new again. So let's start by, I guess these laces have had it, so we'll just cut these out and we'll just start over. Now the biggest enemy to your boots is going to be water and dirt. You have to remember, leather is a natural product. What keeps it soft and supple is going to be the natural oils, from the cow, from the horse, whatever it comes from. And if you don't replenish those, that's why the leather gets dry and it cracks. So you really want to reinvest or reintroduce those fats and those oils and rejuvenate that leather. The first thing I'm going to do is take a stiff bristle brush and I'm going to clean off all the loose stuff. We want to get that out of the leather as much as possible. A guy's going to spend the better part of $1,000 on a pair of custom fire boots like this, so you really want to take care of them if you want them to last. Now, I'm going to use a horsehair brush. I have a couple of these. I keep one for clean and one for dirt, so you don't cross-contaminate. So I'm just going to scrape all this loose stuff off here. All right, that is looking better. Clean up our workspace here. Clean as you go, just like a pro. That's what Proho says. We don't want to get dirt into our clean boots. Now we haven't even begun to clean them. This is just knocking off the loose stuff. Next we'll do a proper leather cleaning. Before we get started, I'll share with you my personal boot care kit, boot and shoes. Now no self-respecting Proho is going to be caught dead without a boot care kit. You're going to throw down $800 for a pair of custom boots. It sounds like it sounds ridiculous, like if you're not used to that, but here's the deal is that these are going to last you for 20 years if you take care of them. So in your kit, you're going to want to have some basic things. Leather cleaner. Now I recommend Obanoffs for your boots. I think that their products are the best. They were designed for wildland firefighters. They're made by our friends up in Idaho. So we've got their cleaner and then we've got their preservative, the HD, which is as good as it gets. You're going to have a couple of horsehair brushes, one for clean and one for dirty. And then if you wear dress shoes or leather shoes, you're going to want to have polishes. You're going to want to have brown, clear, and black. That pretty much takes care of everything. Outside of that, maybe some saddle soap for cleaning, and then I do like the applicator brushes. I have 3 of them, one for each color, one for brown, one for clear, and one for black. You don't want to cross-contaminate it, especially if you wear nice shoes, nice leather shoes, and some various different things, but that basically makes up the kit. We'll start with our cleaner. I find that just putting it on a sponge seems to work about the best. And we want to get that dirt out of there as much as possible because we don't want to put the protectant over top of the dirt because it just seals it in and the boot's not going to breathe and it's just not the proper way. So we'll just wipe that down. What's special about the cleaner is it doesn't leave any residual. Once it dries, it's not going to leave any chemicals behind that are going to break down the leather. All right, that looks pretty good. Now, when you work on a boot, when you clean it, set it aside, and then we'll go back to the first one. It's had 10 minutes or so to dry off. Now we're ready for our treatment. For all my leather, I use 2 different preservatives. Now, both of these are made by Ovenoffs. This one here is a leather oil, and this one is the HD. It's the same stuff. This one is in a paste, and this one is more in an oil form. So if you don't need like really hardcore, this is actually easier to use, and it soaks into the leather a little bit better. This is what I'll use on more dress shoes or leather belts and such. But if you really want the tough stuff that will last, then you go with the HD, the paste. And this is an all-natural product. It's got beeswax in it. It's proprietary. It's all super secret, of course, but it's amazing stuff, and it's not harmful to your health. So if it absorbs into your feet, you're not gonna, it's all natural. It's not a problem to put it on your hands, unlike, you know, like silicone or some of those things that I think a guy wants to stay away from as much as possible. Put it on with your hands. Your hands will actually melt it. It's amazing stuff. You can see right here, it's already turning from a paste into an oil just from the warmth of my hands. And just put it on and lather it on, and you just kind of keep applying it, you know, 1 or 2 coats until it just stops soaking in, you know, depending on how far you've went. But just work it in with your hands and just get it everywhere. So why am I doing Jack's boots and not him? You know, because his papa loves his son. And we don't have him but just a couple more days and he's gone. You know, he goes back out on he's got 2 days off between fires, and he goes back out for another 2 weeks, maybe 21 days. And then this fall straight to college. So we'll only have him with us here, you know, just a couple more days and he's out and gone. So he's got a lot to do to prep for college and get ready for fires. So the whole family's jumping in today and helping him get ready. Okay, that looks super, super skookum. Let's do the false tongues real quick, and then we'll build them back up. Same thing for the false tongues. This curl, they'll curl when they get dry, and you get some Ovenoffs on them, and they'll straighten out again. That looks good. Just to give you some perspective here, this was nearly full. This is how much those boots drink up, to give you an idea of how much you can lose out of your leather. So it's very important to take care of them. Some of you may be wondering what a false tongue is, what it's for, and that is to lay in underneath of your laces to give you an extra layer of protection. The way these boots are designed is that all of this excess material here you see, it's meant to be folded, tripled in 3 layers like that. And once you wear them for a while, you'll train them and they'll stay that way. That gives you 3 layers of protection on your instep, so you don't have the laces rubbing on you. This gives an extra layer of protection. This is a sacrificial piece that you weave in there where the laces ride right on top of it, so that over the years they won't wear a hole through this soft leather right here. You can replace these, throw them out, get new ones, and keep this all pristine in here. When it comes to laces, we have 2 choices. We have leather laces or synthetic. Which one's better? I prefer leather laces. For the wildland firefighting, leather is good because it won't burn. I mean, if it gets hot, you're not going to melt it. You know, some guys will put paracord in there. That's a bad idea. As soon as that gets hot, that will just fail immediately. So leather it stretches. I feel the boots are more comfortable with leather laces. Just make sure you buy really high quality ones. Now they do break, so I change them out every year. I actually told Jack right before he left, I said, "Did you change your laces?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I'll do that," but he forgot to. Of course, they did break, so I would swap them out every year. Also, there's a synthetic option. Now you can get these. These are designed to work in high heat. These are fire laces, and synthetic is good too. It just comes down to personal preference. So Jack seemed to think he wanted synthetic, so we'll do synthetics this year, and then he can decide what he likes after he's used both. There should be a split on the false tongue. You want to run your laces through that. It keeps it kind of centered in the boot. We'll finish off with a quick buff. A little shine on them. Excellent. Better than new. Better than new in that they're broke in. They are difficult to break in. So who makes the best boot? Who is the best brand? As I've said, I've worn them all. Nicks, Whites, West Coast, Danners. Oregon and Washington produces the finest boots in the world, in my opinion, when it comes to this style. This is a classic West Coast boot, denoted mainly by the big heel, that logging style heel. That's required for the mountains. If you ever work in the mountains as you're going down slope, you'll be on your butt all day if you don't have that proper heel. And then going up also it helps because it changes that angle when you're on 50% slope, really steep slope, it just levels it out a little bit. So there's quite a bit to it. So who makes the best boot? What would I say? In my personal experience, they're all good. I would say the benefit of JK boots is JKs, what Jack is wearing here, the craftsmanship is exquisite, as all of them are, but I think that they're the most comfortable boot, and I think that they're the easiest one to break in. If I was gonna, it's hard to say. I like all of them, but they seem to be maybe a little bit lighter, and they break in really easy. They almost feel broke in when you put them on, or at least the two pair that I have were that way. Nicks boots, I've got several seasons on these. These are my Nicks Hot Shots right here. Another excellent boot as well. Hard to break in, but that's not a negative. It's just the nature of the beast. But these also very, very excellent boots. And the very first boots I bought for myself when I was on my first fire were not these, but they were like these, or white smoke jumpers. I actually just bought these because I was nostalgic for them, and I love them. I think that the whites are the best looking of the boots, and the construction, of course, is excellent as well. So I can't tell you, you couldn't go wrong with any of them. But if you don't have time to break in a boot, might recommend the JK boot just for that ease, and they just seem to have maybe just a leg up when it comes to that. All right, so there's one thing remaining, the most important thing, and that is the beaver. The beaver's got to be in here. Yeah, there it is. My son and I have got a long-running prank that we do on each other. This is a beaver. It's a painted rock with a leather tail on it that we hide in each other's gear that you can find randomly. So I always hide this when he goes on fires in a different spot. So we're going to put the beaver in his boot, and I will have the last laugh there. All right, one more thing to show you that you might think is cool. Here's something Jack brought home from me that most of you probably have never seen before, and this is the official fire map of the last fire he was on. These would be revised every day, but in the morning you go to a morning briefing, and at night they'll fly they have special instruments. They'll fly over the fire and they get real-time map, and they create these maps of where the fire is and the division breaks and how you're going to attack it. So I'll kind of show you. It's really cool. Here's the fire name. This was the date of when the map was made here. These would be done daily, but you can see here in the red is where the fire is. And then this is the interior. This is everything that's already burnt. So you have division. The divisions are separated by these here. So you have division F, division G. So a division supervisor is appointed to multiple divisions. Now there could be many, there could be one, or there could be two, depending on the size of the fire. Jack was working up here on his Type 2 crew, all up in this area here. So these are kind of fun. I was glad that he brought this back for me. It's fun to see these. Yeah, there's a division break right there, division H. So very cool map. And that, gentlemen, is all there is to it. Put these back in his red bag, and we'll be ready to go. Speaking of gentlemen, I had a woman that chimed in on the comments this morning, reminding me or taking me to task, why are you always referring to the gentlemen and never referring to the ladies? What I told her was that ladies, of course, are always welcome, but let's not get it twisted. This is a male space. This is a man's channel about man's things, and if women want to watch this and be part of it, of course, you're always welcome, but you're in the backseat position here. I'm not making content for you. Also, the tone of it kind of put my nose out of joint, and it's a big problem. It's that women seem to have a problem of anytime a man wants to have his own space or do his own thing, they're always wanting to interject them into whatever it is that we're doing. They can have their gyms that are just female-only spaces or female this, but anytime we want to do that, then they come and they want to be involved and they have to get involved with it. And you know, I don't understand that. Let men have their own things. Let women have their own things. We're not the same. We're different, and we have different interests and different things. You know, to be honest with you, outside of my wife, I have no interest in hanging out or talking with females. I don't have female friends. I don't want female friends. I think it's inappropriate. I'm not rude to females. I don't dislike them, but it's just not appropriate for me to have intimate or close relationships with another woman that's not my wife. So this idea is that we're all interchangeable and we can just all do the same things. This is all nonsense. This is all nonsense from the propaganda that you've grown up with. Anyone with a clue knows that we're all different, and I think that we should respect each other's differences and appreciate them. I don't go in and I don't care if a woman wants to have her own thing. I would just expect that you respect us. Come here and enjoy our content, but don't come in and making comments, you know, calling me or taking me to task because I'm not referring to females when you're such a small minority. Again, this is a man's channel, a male space. It always has been. So you're welcome here, but just stay in your lane, and we're not really interested in your criticism. May God bless you and your families. Please keep us in your prayers, and we'll see you all on the next video.